Hi, hello, this is Jules the Human here, and welcome to the Jules and Matt Anime Hour. I'm one of your hosts, Jules the Human, and every week we talk about anime here, and we are on the last time that we're going to be discussing Psychopaths, and it's been an experience. It's been wild. We laughed, we cried, there was a lot of blood. Matt is my co-host, as always, for the Jules and Matt Anime Hour. Matt, I felt a lot of things in this anime. Name some things you felt for these last four episodes that we're going to discuss. We haven't
this
talked about
this
it.
this last set of episodes, like the one word that I felt, despair.
There was a lot of despair throughout this whole
Whew.
anime, and if you're looking for that, I definitely recommend it for you. But we're going to discuss our ending thoughts. As always, we go through it, usually the first arc, and this is the last time we're going to be discussing Psychopaths. So if you have not caught up or haven't seen the last 9, 10, 11, and 12 episodes, go watch them and then come back and come and join the discussion. But shout out to everybody that's joining us live here on Twitch, twitch.tv/JulesTheHuman. That's where we are live. But if you are watching on YouTube or Spotify, leave a like on this video or give us a review. Let us know what anime you would like us to check out. Because after this, at the very end of this episode, we're going to be picking a new one to go on an adventure with. This is like an anime book club. So if you want to check it out, or if you want to suggest anime, you can do that for 500 bits here live. I just put that in the chat right there. But here are some animes that have been suggested to us that we put in there, and also by some people. So at the end of the episode, we're gonna pick one of those.
The chest of a million anime.
The chest of infinite anime is there. And it's going to keep growing strong because people keep giving us five. Last episode was like 3. There was
We
like
got 3
3
last episode, and I
suggestions.
think it was like 2 in the one before that.
Yeah, so that's all the stuff that's in the little box for us to pick, and we're going to be picking one at the end of the show. So if you want to start fresh with us, this is the one to go on. But today we are talking about Psychopaths, and there's a lot. So let's just get into it.
Mhm.
Matt, tell us what happened in episode 9, Paradise Fruit. That's where we left off after last episode. Paradise Fruit, episode 9.
Episode 9 sees Kogami taking Akane to see a man by the name of Joji, who teaches a lot about the concepts of criminal profiling. He basically is able to, just by checking her mannerisms and probably other things like her haircut, her eye color, all these different types of things, he's able to pretty much give her a profile of her life at a glance. He doesn't really dive into details, but it's still a lot that he's throwing their way. The episode then sees the other side of the coin from Makashima's perspective, where Makashima and Senguji are having a discussion on humanity and like human physiology, psychology, and this is all happening after this this man Senguji was on like a news broadcast having an interview where he basically goes on record as being everything except for in mind a cyborg. He's basically completely manufactured person minus his brain, and they start to even get into the discussion on the cyberization of the human brain and how that is a something that is currently happening in this universe.
Before we get into it, thank you, Shelbs, for the 500 bits from Bubsy. Another 500 bits. Cabaneri of the Iron Fortress. Who knows what that is? I don't know. It's from Bubsy. Thank you, Bubsy and Shelbs.
New
Appreciate the
anime
500
in the
bits.
chest.
New anime in the chest. The anime Iron Fortress. There it is. Cabaneri of the Iron Fortress. We'll add that one in for sure. But like you were saying, we get a lot of information, and mainly I want to talk about this person.
Senguji.
Senguji, Toyahisa Senguji, who was, as we saw him last in the last couple episodes, he was the one that was helping out. He was helping out what's his name? I don't have it written down.
Makashima.
Makishima. He was helping him out. He
Makishima,
was
sorry.
he was the guy that had the buckshot. And then first thing that we see on this one is him on the TV talking about I have some stuff of the era of immortality because he's a cyborg. Yeah, they reference I love they reference so many philosophers. They have some other music cues that are like classical music. Man, I'm telling you, what I'm having a ball, especially in these 4 episodes because of all the classical music cues, and they're like real classical music, and I'm like, "Okay," and even though it's like it's probably because it's free, because the licenses
Yeah.
are fine because it's after 50 years since it's been made. I love it. I love all the little cues, like, it's like real classical music. He's on TV talking about Plato, that he said that our souls were imprisoned in our bodies, and why don't you wanna be infinite? Why don't you wanna be immortal?
And he starts asking all these questions touching on the concept of how can you claim to not already be part cyborg in if not completely when you're so reliant on things like your mobile devices, your personal assistant, your home personal AI assistant, the home automation, and all of these things parallel
Mhm.
pretty closely. Like this anime came out and I think it was 2012. So about 10 years has passed since this anime was released, but the parallels have only grown stronger since then with things like, iPhones, Alexa, Google Assistant, Siri, and all of the types of things that you can get into with that. And he even directly asked the question, if you were to lose access to all that stuff, your cloud, if you were to lose access to your cloud and all of your social media accounts, who are you? What does that leave
Yeah,
you as a person? And she
and
was
it's like
like, I wouldn't be able to do anything until I got access to all of it again.
Yeah, exactly. She was like, "I would be not what I am. I this is," and he was like, "Well, isn't that like your cyborg already? Like you're already pretty much the same." It's and he's drawing comparisons, and the person that he's being interviewed by is like, "Wait a second, like, yeah, you're right. Hold on, wait a minute." Shout out to Kaylee for the 24 months, 2 years. Holy cow! Shout out to Kaylee with the 24 months.
Sub hype.
I just pulled it up. I'll give you the alert whenever we go live next. Probably tomorrow. It's been 2 years since we met. You got a new emote as well. And also Kaylee gave us some another 500 bits
For another
for
anime.
Sarah Zanmai from You and Jelly. So there we go.
Nice.
You have a new emote? Can you spam that emote real quick? What is that? What did you get? You got a new emote? I have new emotes. Um, got a lot to talk about. So, something else that was really cool, listening to lectures raises your crime coefficient, which was said in this episode. I was like, that checks out. That's good.
It makes sense.
Listening to lectures raises your crime coefficient. And another big thing in this one for me was that Akane finally stood up for herself against Gino.
Yeah.
Gino was kind of like saying some stuff, and then she was finally like, "No, dog, this ain't it." And I love that. I was like,
Yeah, he
"Okay."
basically like and it the episode moves on to explain why he was kind of freaking out, and it's because basically when the whole Sybil system first went into effect, his father was somebody that was an inspector whose crime coefficient, because he was working on cases, quickly shot into the zones that made him a latent criminal before this was introduced midway through this man's career, so he didn't really have any way of like understanding or predicting the president that was about to be set for that type of stuff. So he quickly became a criminal without realizing it, and Ginoza had to see his father just disappear from his life because of that.
Which sucks.
And
And we
so he
don't,
gets really pissed off when he sees people playing with their own hues willingly,
and
because
that's
his father
valid,
was
right?
somebody who didn't have a choice with how things played out.
And it totally makes sense to me. Like that made sense to you, right? Like he was like, yeah,
Yeah.
totally. I see where he comes from. That's
And
I
Akane
would
says that too. She's like, I can see where he's coming from, but and then it's oh, his name again. It's the older
Maya
um
Kasama or something like that.
Masoka.
Machias Maso
I think
what?
it's Masoka. Maosoka,
Mhm.
Masoka. He was the one explaining this to Akane, and she says like, "Oh yeah, I understand that, but still, and he's like, yeah, but still, like, it doesn't mean it's okay, but this is where he's coming from, basically.
And one last like big thing that I saw from this one was that Kogami was Gino's former partner. They kind of alluded to them knowing each other before. I don't think they explicitly said it, but they were partners, and that's kind of where, unless it was, I
I
don't know.
think I think it was touched on before
Okay, I don't know.
because
This is where it was clear to me. I was like, "Oh, they worked." I knew they worked together. I
yes.
didn't know they were partners, and I was like, "Oh, this makes sense. Why they have such a connection together, or some distance."
Mhm.
But they do a lot of stuff in these coming episodes. Let's get into episode 10 because we still have a lot of
Mhm.
big things happened in these episodes.
Mhm.
Methuselah's Game, episode 10 of Psychopaths. Again, hi, hello. This is Matt and Jules Anime Hour. We do Psychopaths, and then next episode. By the end of this episode, we're gonna pick a new anime to look at, go through the first arc, and next week we're gonna start that. So it's kind of like a book club for anime, an anime club, if you will. So, episode 10.
Episode 10. We see Akane's friend Yuki is used as bait in order to lure Kogami into a trap. Senguji begins to hunt down Yuki and Kogami like little foxes in this whole like hunting area, and Ginoza gives Akane a hard time about letting Kogami loose because he basically goes off the grid for a portion of time, and she is under the impression that like this is a trap, so something wrong is happening. But Ginoza gives her the, well, what if he was trying to escape and such and such. Eventually, Kagami is able to radio in his coordinates to the team, and everybody knows that they're on the case. The trail is still hot. It's not, he wasn't trying to make an escape or anything like that.
This was the most Saw like shit. This was super Saw, super Sherlock, all the stuff that I like. It was just like, oh, such a good episode. I was not expecting it. Him getting lured. I knew it was like a trap,
Yeah,
but then when the train started moving, that scared me.
that
Uh,
caught me off guard.
it was like boom, and then he caught him, Kogami, and I was like, "Oh, we're going." And he's like, "You're out. Let's go. We're going." But um, as far as the title goes, I looked up some stuff about the title. So, episode 10 is called Methuselah's Game. And according to the Hebrew Bible, if you don't know, Methuselah was a patriarch whose lifespan, as recorded in Genesis, was 969 years old. And according to legend, it was the longest living human being. So that's who Methuselah is. But some say, I looked it up even further to like how it pertains to psychopaths. Some are saying Methuselah refers to Senguji playing the most dangerous game, hunting a person. So that's kind of
Mhm.
like what they always said before, like in a lot of horror movies and stuff like that, where like, oh, we got to play the most dangerous game. That's where you hunt another human because they're the best type of game because they're smart and all that stuff. So Methuselah's Game basically is talking about also Senguji being like sort of immortal, I
Mhm.
guess, like because
Yeah.
he's a cyborg. And
He during this episode and the previous one, he makes so many references as to like, even though his body continues to become more cybertronic and stuff, his mind is like remains completely acute, and it's because he does things like searching for the thrill of the next thing that's happening, which that's why we see him hunting all these people down. The show kind of cuts away and shows a bunch of different people undergoing that tranquility drug or whatever. So it's the juxtaposition of, even though he's, I think it goes on to say that he's like a 120 or something like that. It does state his age at some point, I think. But he it's kind of like he's almost a vampire in certain ways, where he uses youth and other concepts of life in order to like drain it from other people to extend his own longevity.
so does that make him more human even though he is cyborg? Like, I know it's like the
What it
psychology of
he
it.
the last episode, they get into touching on the basis of, what does it mean to be a human and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
that also, somebody in chat mentioned it the other day as a joke, but it gets into this conversation, I'm not my body, I'm just in it, or I'm not my
Y-
body, I'm just piloting it. Somebody said something
yeah,
like that, but it's like, yeah, like, and that's him. His mind is still all there, but he's just piloting this body that instead of being flesh and bone is now circuits and wires.
because again, what Plato, I think it was Plato or another philosopher they referenced last time was that like we are not we are so like our souls are contrived into our body or something like that. Like that's basically what it was, that we're more than this that you
Hmm.
see here, and we're just burdened by being in this flesh suit and things like that. Get so many thoughts, so many things going on this whole thing. The
I
cool
love the back and forth, and I started thinking about it too, where it was like, he Kogami realizes at some point that they used Akane's friend to lure her in, but it wouldn't be Akane that would go in there after her, so they kept her in there. Why would they keep her involved though? It's to slow him down so he doesn't have an easy escape, and it like they start explaining all of these different things that are like going on, and it really it doesn't get into it until it's well into the episode,
It's so good. Did
but
you like
everything is
it?
subtle. Yes,
It's so good. It's insane how well it how the pacing in this episode, especially. This felt so long. I've been saying like all the episodes feel super long.
a lot happens.
This did not feel like the 20 minutes or whatever. Like this extended for me, like in my brain. One thing that was cool was the level 2 equipment. I didn't know there was other kind of equipment. I thought it was just gonna be the gun. He had the stun stick, which was
Oh
kind of
yeah,
cool.
that's right. Yeah.
He had a stun stick there that helped out a whole lot. But what you were mentioning with the whole Gino Akane thing, like Gino kind of blamed her a lot
Mm-hmm.
for messing up. Do
Mm-hmm.
you think that's misplaced anger? Because he's just like, I don't want him to get hurt. Like he actually cares about Kogami.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, but even even Masoka, like, picks Ginoza up and tosses him into the drone, saying like, "Hey, bro, that's a little too far.
yeah,
Like,
for sure.
chill out. We don't
Uh,
even know what's happened yet."
yeah. Why do you think he does that though? He just has like a general resentment to him, and it shows. Like, there's a lot of history there, right?
Bitterness. It's I think it's like it was getting into in the last episode. It's just he. It's all of this. He hates people not doing things set by the Sybil system because he saw somebody get ripped away from him,
But
and
Kogami's already out of the system. Like, he's
no, yeah, yeah,
already
yeah. But it's like he was saying, he said something that if she was doing her job better as an inspector, he wouldn't have been that far off the leash or something. And he's just a very like by the books, by the numbers person.
yeah.
And she allowed a situation to happen where he potentially could have been escaping or
Yeah,
whatever.
the
I think
worst
that's
part
where it falls.
yeah, the worst part though about that I think is because I can see it on his side too. Like I can
Hmm.
see that he's really just trying to keep it all together because who else will? He's kind of the leader right now. He's the most educated in it, and he has his former partner that's not there to that he can bounce off of or do something. I don't know. He just says he's just gonna leave it in the hands of the civil system
Yeah.
so he can blame it on that. And then once like it finally like they were waiting for Kogami to call. They're like, "Did he escape? Is he gone? Did he do this on purpose?" And they're like, "We're gonna move." And then as soon as Kogami's like, "Yo, we need some help. I need some help," or whatever, instantly he was like, "Send everybody, go!"
Yeah.
Like I loved that part because it was like he was just like, "I got no time, man. My hands are
Super tense.
tied."
Yeah.
And then he was like, "Let's go,
He
go
seemed
help."
very relieved to give the order to like, send in everybody. And then
Ugh,
they're like, well, we don't know where T is. And he was just like, just start going random directions.
send them
Like,
all.
get in there.
Yeah.
Go.
So the whole dangerous game is going on. What happens in episode 11, Saints Supper?
um, in Saint Supper. So Kogami, after getting a
Right into the
Dominator.
mic, please.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
Kogami, after getting a Dominator from a drone, is able to eliminate Senguji, but takes a couple like shots in the process. Senguji was using a hunting shotgun, and so he gets a couple pellets in him. Masoka and Akane catch up, and Masoka begins tending to Kogami using first aid, and Akane decides to go ahead alone after being told that her friend was taken away. Confronting Makishima, you confronting Makishima, Kogami's will is tested,
Uh,
and she continues to try to use her dominator against Makishima to no effect, as his crime coefficient is not in a range where
it's going
enforcement can be applied.
down.
It happened. The thing happened. Promise, never seen this
Oh,
before. Um, so her test of will fails as another gun is tossed her way. Makishima asks her to shoot him, to kill him, and she is unable to bring herself to do so. And he slits her throat right in front of Akane. And she goes back to inform everybody that Makishima is immune to the judgment of a dominator.
this this one fucking wrecked me. This was a lot.
It
I
was like a
loved it.
10-minute sequence at the end there
Oh
where that all
my
played out,
god.
where she was just standing in front of him and he was on his monologue. He said a lot.
It was a lot.
And
Yeah, I
it all
got
made
some of it.
sense.
It did for sure. But let's talk about before that though.
Yeah.
Kogami with the kill shot on the dog. I mean, it's not a dog, but it's a robot.
Robot.
Bro,
Yeah.
the turnaround, the fucking flip, it's fucking the kill shots, and we don't get a whole lot of violence. I mean, we do, but we don't get a whole lot of like fighting, hand-to-hand combat or anything. The shots, the kill shots, so good. When I love that y'all predicted this happening and it's still so tense. Yeah, Matt for sure got it right. Matt got it right. I'm not I Matt blew my mind last time and he was completely correct and it still hit different. It still hit amazing. I think I need to watch this. Radical, I love it. We're gonna give you our full like what we think at the end. We're gonna rate it on our scale. Psychopaths, first seat, the first like 12 episodes. We loved it for sure. But the ending of um Senguji,
Yeah.
he was talking to Makishima about the pure like bliss that how he's only felt this some one other time in his life that he loved it and it was just like ecstasy about him
Mhm.
actually risking his life.
Yeah, he said this is no longer about the hunt. This is about, like, I want to duel that man.
Yeah,
Like,
and
this
like
is
why would I
about
run
mano
away?
y mano. This is
Makishima
not a
was like
hunt
you
anymore.
gotta yeah, Makishima was like you gotta go, you gotta get out of here, they're gonna catch you, and then he was like nah, man, this is different. This shit hit different.
Yeah.
Beethoven's Ninth Ode to Joy, as soon as playing at the climax of them too, like the the classical music hits were on point. I was like, huh, this is it.
Yeah,
Like
they
this
come
is the
out of
thing.
nowhere, but they're very powerful and
I didn't
evocative.
talk about like a couple episodes ago, they did that too. And I think on episode 12 they did that as well. But like the classical music hits, so fucking good. Um, One thing I caught was they use Hound and Shepherd code names on the little thing for enforcers and inspectors. They're like Hound 1
Round
to
1.
Shepherd 1, and I was like, "Oh, that's good." They don't talk about it. It's just a part of their
Just
world, which I
happens.
love. I love when an anime is just like, "Use
That's
your
just how that
brain."
works,
Yeah, use your
and it
brain,
makes sense.
dog.
Yeah. Keep up.
Yeah, keep up, and that's a lot. Like, was it okay, you said before that sometimes like it was especially in when we watched Gatchaman Crowds.
Mhm.
Gatchaman Crowds moved quite fast.
Mhm.
This one moves quite fast as well. Are you
This one
keeping
does
up?
move fast, but I feel like it's a lot more, like, dialogue heavy, where Gotchaman Crowds was, it's not that it wasn't dialogue heavy, but I feel like it was a lot more in those, like, sequences, like the milk crisis. It was stuff like that, you know? It
Bro,
was
we're
the
gonna be referencing the
sequences.
milk crisis like
That's the
episode
perfect way
50.
of
Yeah, like
of encapsulating it.
yeah.
But I feel like, here, it's a lot more dialogue where we're just, seeing the interplay between, two people's thoughts play out. It even, uh, Akane's friend Yuki even tells to Kogami at one point, like, hey, please just say something, you're scaring me because you're so quiet.
Yeah.
And then they kind of begin to have a back and forth where he gets to light bulb moment from it. So it's a lot more, playing with the dialogue, but it is a lot of dialogue.
Mhm. It's a lot of reading, and it
Hmm.
goes by kind of fast, so that's kind of the one downer, but I'm fine with it. I'm
It's in
totally
a
cool.
good way. It's not
Yeah.
to, say that's a bad thing.
Yeah, for sure. Um, Makishima's crime coefficient. As
Through the whole conversation, it continued to go down as he was closer towards doing something completely, inhumane.
bro, when she raised the gun and I saw 79, I lost it. I could
Yeah.
not. I was like, "Bro, it's the thing, Leo Point." And then she keeps going, and we keep getting cut back into her thing. The trigger's locked. 50. It goes lower and it goes lower, and I'm like, "What's going on?" And he says all his life, his psychopath has been pure white. Um, is he just built different? Is that just like is it because of his convictions against Sybil? Like, that's kinda what he made it out to be, right?
It's basically he believes in he is so bought into his own concept of free will, and
That
that the
under
Sibyl's his.
Sybil, you can never know free will or the weight of choice.
Exactly. So without that concept in play, plaguing his mind at all, he's free to do whatever he wants without the influence of that judgment.
He references another philosopher, Descartes, and he says those who can't make a decision can't do so because either their desires are too great or they lack intellect. And he tells that to Akane there as he tosses the real shotgun. She can make a choice. That this is the first time that to him, according to him, this is the first time that she can make a choice for her first time. But if she does intend if she does kill him with the intent if she does injure him with the intent to kill him, her own psychopath will get clouded and she'll be convicted as a criminal. So, like, he was
Which
just like,
even just being told that could almost be considered a placebo effect, you know? You
yeah.
just get now it's just the mind game at play. Where now it's yeah, you have the card where he's planted that seed of that concept in your mind, and now that's what you're thinking about. You can't get the concept of pulling the trigger to kill this guy out of your head because that's what was just spoken to you.
So we've had this looming bad guy, Makishima. Um, Kogami has been talking about him a whole bunch. Kogami hasn't. They haven't like confronted each other really, when they're both in the same state. But they confront. He confronts Akane, and this. How do you feel about this comfort? How do you feel about this bad guy? Is he a sufficient bad guy?
Oh
Like
yeah, I mean after I think that Yuki having like Kogami's friend Yuki bringing her into the picture, us having met Yuki before, um it was a good way for it to add emotional stake to
it hit different.
Akane as the character, and I thought that giving letting Kogami take down Senguji, giving him a couple shots so that way he can't really, he's incapacitated for the moment, and Akane has to go on by herself. It was a really good way to set like all of that up where she kind of again her will was kind of tested, so to speak. In that moment, we get to see that happen, but just everybody kept the past couple episodes kept talking about no wonder your psychopath is so green. No wonder your psychopath is so clear about Akane. And this is the first time where something really, really we see her put her foot down against Spinoza, like, I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm
Yeah.
doing. Don't talk to me about getting my psychopath cloudy. Um, so I think it was because like you were talking about in that last episode, she wasn't really being given enough
Yeah.
time highlighted as a main character. She was
Hmm.
kind of just in a passenger seat the whole time. But I really like how the show was able to put her in a position where she was right there face to face in front of the BBG,
The
big
big
bad evil
bad.
guy.
Yeah, and I think
And
that's gonna
she couldn't
change
do it.
her.
Yeah,
I think
it's
that'll
exactly.
change her from now. Now she has a point that we can reference to be like, she was this before, and I hope going forward into the show, it's like she's gonna be on a different path slightly a little bit because now she had this confrontation with the character that has this insane viewpoint, well, to them, this
Mhm.
insane viewpoint about the world that they live in, like, under the civil system. And
And
hopefully
she
it's different.
we do and we see, like, the aftermath of the situation. She's wrapped in a blanket, like, just repeating to herself, I
Bro,
let I let Yuki die, and I did nothing. I did
Yuki
nothing while I let
died.
Yuki die.
She's incapacitated. Kogami's hurt critically. um, Everything is like this is the apex of it, and then we get like a little palate cleanser here
Yeah.
with this episode 12. So let's go through episode 12 really quickly because this was not a part of the arc, but this is part of the episodes that we did intend to watch. So 3 years ago, episode 12, Devil's Crossroad.
Devil's Crossroad. We see, am I saying her name right? Is it Ya
Yayoi.
Yayoi? Thank you. We see,
Yayoi.
that Yayoi used to be a guitarist, but she got, deemed a latent criminal and was institutionalized. Ginoza and Kogami approach her to elicit help in a case, regarding an area that she used to play in, perform in all the time. Their investigation leads to a club where, after it is set ablaze, Yayoi searches for Rina, her old friend that she heard playing in the club. She finds out Rina is part of a resistance group trying to overthrow the Sybil system, and gets asked to join the resistance group, to which she attempts to ask Rina to stop what she's doing, pulls a Dominator on Rina that was handed to her by Kogami, telling her that it was ID to her, but the gun clicks unauthorized user, and she decides that she will become an enforcer after denying the request to do it permanently from Ginoza and Kogami beforehand.
Denied a lot. She denied them a lot. They want her on there. The first thing that screamed out to me was the new music, the new opening,
New
and the
opening.
new opening already because it's done with the first season, sort of the first arc.
Yeah, that 1 to
Uh,
11.
this one hit more. I like
Yeah,
this.
way better.
The new music at the beginning and the new music at the end. I was like, this is better. I did like the opening sequence as well. The opening sequence had like all the characters we see, and it's like poo poo. It's kind of like it kind of feels like a crime show. Like it is a
Yep.
crime show, but it feels like a crime show opening anime style. So it was pretty cool. So we follow Yayoi 3 years ago, and we've seen her already. We've seen her in the show already on the crew. But she is a latent criminal that is one of the facilities that we've seen. This is really cool. I really like that.
This episode feels very Black Mirror-ish.
This totally.
It's
I
like
didn't.
feels like ripped right out of Black Mirror, this
Yeah,
episode.
yeah, for sure. Visuals are nicer. The first song's Apex just hits different. Yes,
Yes.
very cool. Um, yeah, it looked great. It looked fantastic. So yeah, this felt very Black Mirror because we've already seen they showed us stuff and they don't explain it, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with like you've already seen this kind of character, and it says 3 years ago. You already kind of know where she's at in the place. You've been there. It was explained a while ago. So here it is. This is cool. I was like, dope. All right, cool. I like when they know that we're smart. When they
Mhm.
don't treat us like babies. They're
Yep.
like, okay, here you go. And Gino's seen giving the choice of enforcer to this character, Yayoi, a bunch of times. And this whole idea, what's the idea of the unauthorized and the authorized artist here? That like loving
Yeah.
that because this
I
person
think
that
I
she was
think
with was an unauthorized artist, but she was
yes,
an authorized artist.
correct. I think it just, it's basically music that evokes anything that would be,
That's crazy.
like, I honestly, I just imagine it being like, the anti rock and roll movement off the radio ways type deal.
That's
Like,
crazy. That's
just
wild.
there is music that is deemed too evocative for
Bro, you're
people
too
to
hardcore.
be listening to. I think that's also a concept in a, I'm forgetting the year, 19, is it 1984? uh
Oh, that book.
Orson Welles,
Yeah,
1984, I think.
1984.
Yeah, it's the same concept in that, where there's, like, types of media and music that just, it's that new speak. That's the word they use in that verbiage. It's the new speak. So anything that's deemed new speak music, it's unauthorized
Yeah.
because that type of music clouds your hue.
It's
Authorized music is safe for the radio and it won't cloud your hue.
That's crazy. I like that. I like that they put that there though. So that we now we know that's in their arsenal for later on. Like
Which
now
the
we'll
show kind of reaches back into the same pocket with that, into this like micro episode, because somebody explains like how could the Sybil system create this like there's an acronym for it. It's the OAT, the occupational aptitude test,
Mhm.
creates a world where anyone can enjoy art, nature, peace. How can that be the case when we have people that
Uh,
when we have a system that's deeming art, nature, or other things like
that's so weird.
unauthorized or whatever?
I want to okay, I'm pretty sure at some point we are going to see um we're going to see who created the Sybil system. Like we're going to see them, I hope, at some point in the Apex. We're going to see who creates it.
We've seen the chief of police. Wait, we've seen the chief of police. We know it's Ginoza's mom, and we know Ginoza's dad was deemed a latent criminal after the system was put in place. Those are three things we
Are
know.
we all just in the system now because his mom hated his dad? She wanted him to she wanted to get out of the marriage, so she was
She
like,
didn't
"Let me
tell him
create a
what she was
system."
working on.
Yeah, let me create a
Well,
system
it's
and he's a
cooking in the
criminal
kitchen.
now. Ooh, OAT, the On Attack Titan. Yes,
On
that's what that
attack.
is.
Yes.
The On Attack Titan for sure. Um, this was just a cool episode. Cool palette cleanser. I enjoyed it. Like you said, it was Black Mirror-ish. I didn't even think about that, but yeah, it is very Black Mirror. Getting to know. I really hope there's more vignettes of characters like this, which is it was pretty cool. It was a cool little episode, and of course, I'm pretty sure on the next episode we're going to continue on because of what happened in episode 11 was a lot, and it was kind of cool to just like back away and just be like, okay, I'm in the world. I'm learning more. Um, I think it was the Ernie Ball strings that she used. They were made in 2023, and I was like, "Oh, hold on." I think it said 2023 on her strings, and I was like, "That's this year. Interesting." Music clouding your hue. It's giving kids plays shooters and listen to metal music on the news vibes. Yeah, get off those video games. They're gonna cloud your mind for sure. I heard AOT at first, so I was like Attack on Titan, but then my brain process was like, oh no, on Attack Titan. Yes, you're right. The second one's right. Yes, for sure. But that was really funny. That was really interesting that there's an anti-establishment in the music, which is we see a lot. Like that's kind of what a lot of music is about as well, where it's just like we're against the man, but
Yeah. Rage Against the Machine.
they're literally raging against the machine here, which
Mhm.
is kind of crazy. This was
I
the
think it's
end.
really interesting though that that's what Yayoi decides is the breaking point for her to become an enforcer, whereas before she had this conviction against doing it. I don't know if it was because like she was like, well, once I get out, I'm gonna look for those guys and play music with them again, or like what it was that about that interaction that sent her over like
Yeah,
from no, I'm not gonna do that to all right, make me an enforcer.
it was she made a choice. It was a big choice for her because again, it was the Devil's Crossroad, like in the title. But I didn't know. Yeah, I'm kind of in an agreement here. I didn't really
And
know her convictions were that strong. I was just like, okay,
do you think the Devil's Crossroad refers to her crossing with her friend Rena again, or do you think the Devil's Crossroad is her with the choice to become an enforcer because she asked Ginoza, if I become an enforcer, that means my hue will never get clear again, right? And then he just doesn't answer.
but then Kogami or she gets the information that it almost never happens. I think she got that from Kogami, right? Where she was
Oh,
like, I think
might have slipped
Kogami
past me.
talked to her and he was like, it's not gonna it's not gonna happen. You're not gonna go back to real life. What do
Oh,
you
fair.
mean?
Yeah,
I think that's what
I think that's
that's
what does happen.
I think Kogami talks to her like that very candidly. And you see, I love the differences there because we saw Kogami and Gino
Both try to handle it in two
as
different ways.
partners.
Yeah.
Yes, as the partners that we heard. And it was
Mhm.
just like, this is
And the
so
moment
cool.
where like he's like, and this is a dominator, like this is where you get to be the one that starts to take from people instead of get taken from. It's registered to you.
I think
And
it's more
Ginoza's like
that.
Ginoza
Yeah.
like jumps in. He's like, "What are you doing?" He's like,
He's doing the anime, like,
"Oh,
grinding the teeth. Yeah, pretty much. But I think it's that. I think it was that where I don't think she wanted to keep running. I don't think she just was like, "No, I want the power," sort of, but she made her choice and she doesn't make music anymore, which is kinda wild. I don't know. There's a few ways to interpret it. I honestly don't feel like it was enough for
mhm."
her, but okay. That's
Because
a
she the her friend Rena like asked her like, "Well, I thought that's what you wanted. Didn't you want to like become a part of like the unauthorized, the anti-establishment?" And yeah, you always like, "I just wanted to be on stage with you guys." Like, I was just
yeah.
having fun. What do you mean? What do you
Uh
mean Molotov cocktails?
Quick Google search. Robert Johnson was a Mississippi blues singer and songwriter who, according to legend, sold his soul to Satan at the crossroads. Yes. In exchange for his remarkable talent on the guitar. Yes, for sure. That's kind of like that. Um, Devil Went Down to Georgia. Like a lot of those sort of like there's a few songs that kind of reference it as well. Supernatural did an episode inspired by that. Oh, I didn't think. Oh, I think I saw it. Yeah, that's why it felt kind of familiar. I love the titles. The titles are a whole thing as well in this show. This is the end of our Psychopaths.
Psychopaths.
That's the last time you can say it. No more. Everyone get one out right now. Psychopaths. That's it. We are moving on to a new anime starting today, and we're going to be watching it together. But before then, we have to rate the first arc of Psychopaths. So we rate it on three different things, and we put it on our tier list: animation, storytelling, and vibes. And for the first arc of Psychopaths, what would you put 1 to 10 on animation, Matt?
Animation, I'm giving animation like a an 8 out of 10. It's got like a B rating for me. It's like an 8
Sure.
out of 10.
I give
How
it a
about for you?
9.
Yeah,
I gave
9.
it a 9. I loved the animation. I still like I don't know when can anybody Google search when it came out? I don't know when it came out. Still looks fantastic. I love the movement of the camera. Sometimes it's a little shaky. I love like it looks old, but it's still new. I don't like well, I like how how faded it looks. Like it's a whole aesthetic to me. I think it's just a full aesthetic for me. And I love the way the gun stuff, the explosions in the background, the bodies, blood, all that stuff. Love it. 9 out of 10 for me on animation. Storytelling, what do you give it?
Yeah, storytelling, it's a 10 out of 10 in the storytelling department for this show. I love how the way everything was set up with the context of how everything was playing out. I love that I was able to call out one of the reveals in the first arc, as we were halfway through it.
Yep. And
That
then
made it super satisfying to me to
for
watch.
sure, the cycle has been passed for sure. I give it a 10 as well. I'm having so much fun all during this whole time. The mute like the way that it's not holding my hand, it makes me have these moments where I'm like, oh, I was right. Like I was thinking it and I was like, okay. And it's like, oh, that's where they're going. Like it's cool. It's just great. Great storytelling all the way through. This whole first arc felt really great. Like it just felt like it flowed well. Everything, every little second was used up and it was important and all the dialogue was important and all if it wasn't important, it made me think. It like all the references to all the philosophers, all the philosophy thoughts and ideas. I'm like, oh, like it's making me think outside into my real world. I was like, oh my God, whatever. Vibes. What'd you give it on vibes?
Vibes, matching the animation for me is getting an 8. Uh, sorry, getting an 8 for like a B. It's interesting because like this show again, it's not really similar to the other shows that we've watched. I do really enjoy like the aesthetic of the show, the setting, the tone, the pacing, like everything about the show is really coming together. Is really coming together for me. I I do have some holdups and like not really holdups, but I guess it's just like when the shows hits those emotional beats, it's like it is really powerful. It is really powerful. The dialogue, like you were saying, it's very strong and compelling all the way throughout. I just feel like it's I don't know if it's just a like you said, some of the shots, I guess for me, were a little dragged out.
Sure.
Sometimes it felt like a couple things got a little dragged out where it felt like it could have like wrapped it up a little bit better and set its sights on a different part of the show. But that's the
And
direction it
that's
went was great.
it's all like subjective, right? Like I
Yeah,
like that.
exactly.
I like
Exactly.
that they stayed in a room together and talked it out for an extended period of time. I was like, I'm enjoying this, but I can see where it's like, all right, come on, get going or whatever. So it's totally subjective for sure. This is
But for
uh
you, how would you rate the vibes as well?
10 out of 10, bro. Honestly, this is going to be the first time I think that we have not
Have a
agreed.
different rating? Yeah.
Have a different rating on the scale now. So, 10 out of 10 vibes. I love the Sherlock feel. I love that there's a perfect counter to it, Moriarty. I love how slow it felt, how fast it felt, how much time everything was. It's literally perfect. And I was like, this is it. This is the anime I wanted. I need this is one that I can't put on my second screen. This is one where I'm like, I'm paying attention to it. I'm paying attention. I'm in it. I'm using all of my brain. I'm not bored checking my phone. And I'm like, yo, this is it. So I loved it. 10 out of 10 for vibes. As you know, we put it on a scale. All the animes that we have looked at already on the show, we put it on a scale and drum roll, please. Boom. There it is. Jules has Psychopass as an S tier, and Matt has Psychopass as an A tier, joining Black Clover from both of us at a B tier, and Gotchaman Crowds, both of us as an A. So this is my first S tier, and Matt's
We
A tier.
found it.
This is the one. This is the first time. First of many, I'm pretty sure. It's not gonna
Mhm.
we're not always gonna agree on stuff. Stuff is made
It's
for us.
And that's where, like, it's hard for me to voice and, like, kind of explain my holdups that kept it from being an S tier because I did still really enjoy it. Like, I did
Yeah.
still think it was really good.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have been so engaged and I feel like been able to call out that thing in the last episode if I wasn't, like, actually enjoying it. I
Yeah.
was paying attention throughout. There's just I don't know, there's, something there that's just not in the mix that's just keeping it from being like that
And
for
that's
me.
totally okay. And all of anime and every medium is subjective. It's totally
Mhm.
that's why we have it. We want
Yeah.
y'all to join in and give us your thoughts always. Tell us how if you liked Psychopaths, what you enjoy about it, what didn't you like about it? Maybe you disagree with all of everything that we said. Let us know in the live chat if you're live watching it on Twitch, or if you want to tell us on Twitter at Anime Hour Pod, or let us know in the YouTube comments because it's going to be on YouTube. Let us know on Spotify as well. Leave us a review. But we are done. Uh, CZ said, "Oh, this was from CZ as well." So this recommendation was from CZ. If you want to have your recommendation possibly on the show for us to talk about together and watch together, 500 bits and give us a name of an anime. And if it's not like hentai or etchy or anything, we'll put it in there. Put it in the anime chest of champions, and the anime chest of infinite anime. This one was from CZ. Psychopass was a good recommendation, I'd say. CZ said, "Y'all better continue on the side if you enjoyed it because it gets wild." Definitely, for sure. I want to keep watching. I want to know what happens. But matters last thing in the books to do here is pick a new anime. So we're done with Psychopaths. The Psycho has been passed, as Kaylee has said. Do we add the ones that were sent in today? Did you already do that or no? If
I haven't
not,
done that yet. I can do that
okay,
right now.
I'll vamp here. So shout out
I
to
think we didn't even do it. You and I didn't add any into the chest
we
this
didn't.
time.
I don't honestly. We're getting
Yeah,
a
I think
lot.
it's yeah, yeah.
We're getting a lot more than I thought we were gonna get. So
I
thank
think we can
y'all
roll with it for now until one of ours gets picked, and then
for sure.
put we can replace ones that we've already put in
The
there.
way it was supposed to go, we didn't expect so many people to help us and be generous. So thank you so much, because this the bits and stuff go towards me and Matt. I split it with Matt. Um and the way it was supposed to go was me and Matt were supposed to put one of ours each into the bucket every time, but we have a ton of recommendations like today from Shelbs, Cabaneri of the Iron Fortress, and that's from Bubsy. Kaylee sent in the 500 bits as well. Sarah Zanmai from Churn Jelly. Was that was there two? Yeah, there was two, right? Two today?
Correct.
Okay, cool. So Matt's adding those two new ones. My recommendation is very important. So the way it works is we watch the first arc up until episode 12. We watch it. Y'all watch it so you can join in on the conversation every week. It's kind of like a book club, but with an anime. And here is, aside from the two that we got today, here are the other ones in the chest. And Matt's going to pick one out at random. So any of these are up there. Zombieland Saga, Komi Can't Communicate, Odd Taxi, Overlord, Mob Psycho 100, Puella Magi, Madoka Magica, Black Summoner, Future Diary, Kisniver, or Danganronpa. So we usually watch the first 12 episodes or so, the first arc. So many in the chest. That's what I'm saying. There's so many. Y'all have been so generous. Y'all have been amazing. So thank you so much for supporting the show. It's going way better than we thought it would. And I love that y'all are here all the time. And I love that y'all watch it all also. Y'all, that's the point. That's the point. Is for everybody to watch a new anime, to watch more anime, and for us to come by and have like a discussion and join in the Discord and all that stuff. So Matt, chat, drum roll, because yeah, if this is another CZ pick, it's rigged because most of them have been CZ picks.
I think
This is
CZ has like 4 in here right now.
yeah. Well,
So
okay, yeah, it's for sure. So
let's see.
what's our next anime?
Let me
I want it to be mine.
think I got one. What is that?
I don't
That's
know. It's backwards.
backwards,
Oh,
upside
upside down.
down.
Wait, it's
Zombieland
backwards.
Saga.
Zombieland Saga. It's mine. Yes, finally. Zombieland Saga. I've been wanting to watch this one. It looks silly. It looks dumb. I know Matt would never have watched it, so I want Matt to watch it.
There it is.
Zombieland Saga is our next anime. Oh, wrong one. There it is. Watch episode 1 through 4 of Zombieland Saga. It's on Crunchyrolls, multiple Crunchyrolls. Watch episode 1, 2, 3, and 4 by next week. And we are going to watch it as well. Me and Matt are going to come back and discuss it. And if you want to come back next week and discuss it real time, yeah, that's how to do it. You can go watch it. I was hoping for mine, but Zombieland Saga is also very good. Every Crunchyroll that you find, it is there. All the Crunchyrolls, every Crunchyroll. It was not a CZ pick. Clap it up for no CZ. CZ shutout.
CZ didn't get the hat trick.
Nope, not a hat trick. Let's go. So Zombieland Saga. It
Zombieland
looks
Saga.
dumb. It looks silly. And I like zombies. So that's why I put it in there. And I've been wanting to watch it. So this is a reason to watch it. I think it's only one, like there's one season and I think it's 12 episodes. So I think we could finish the first season, but we'll get to about 12 episodes. But next week, 1, 2, 3, and 4, watch episode 1 through 4, Zombieland Saga to join in. And yeah. I cannot wait to get involved. Let's go, Radical. Love that. Love that for sure. We want more people to watch it. We just want more people to watch and for us to get hyped about it and to watch stuff that like we normally wouldn't watch. Because last time, Gotchaman crowds, I didn't even know that was a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't even know Gotchaman crowds was a thing, and it became one of my favorite things ever. It was great. Black Clover was cool. That was dope. I mean, like all the anime stuff, it's gonna be great. So, but also get wrecked. I think that was just easy. So yeah, thank you so much for being here. And you can watch if you missed it live or if you came in late, you can watch this on YouTube, youtube.com/JulesTheHuman. It'll be up on YouTube, or this show is also on Spotify. You can watch on Spotify, watch the video on Spotify, like that guy, Joe Rogan or whatever. I don't know. He's not the only one that has a video podcast on Spotify. I don't know who else has one, but you could do that on Spotify and we are there. So you can watch it on Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, whatever.
All the ones.
all the things. Matt, where can they find you?
When I am not here, you can find me on my Twitch at Matt_Galley or on all my socials at it's Matt_Galley. Just make sure you get that underscore in there. And where can
Wow.
the people find you?
I'm gonna keep up with this one and also gonna watch Psychopaths. Hopefully, you better, Kaylee. Let's watch episode 1 right now in the Discord. No, I don't know.
Zombie
Zombie.
Land.
No. And everybody has to change their Discord name to something Zombieland Saga related. That's a rule. I'm Jules the Human. You can find me here on Twitch, twitch.tv/JulesTheHuman, youtube.com/JulesTheHuman. Google me. I'm on all the things. Go find me. You're probably watching it on something I do. So, yeah, you know me already. Jules the Human, Jules the Human. You can find me in my bed soon because I'm gonna go to sleep. But
There's
that
no
was
time.
fun. Psychopaths was an experience. Thank you all for watching as well. Thank you for watching the show. And me and Matt will see you next time.
Bye.